So, how was last week's video for you? Did you enjoy it? Well, we hope you enjoyed it. We hope it was everything you imagined it would be because, yeah, we've been gone longer than planned, far more than a week. In fact, probably 3 or 4 weeks now since our last video update. Quite simply, it's my fault. I had to go back to the UK for some work and I parked Jess, Isla, Otis and Bebe up in a campsite just outside Agadir. And when I got back, well, I just kind of needed a rest.
Racing through the water.
So we chilled out, but we are now back and we are back traveling again, and we're going to tell you all about what we've been doing in the last couple of weeks. And we're going to be gracing your screens far more frequently. Aren't you the lucky bunch?
Call that hard work, Dave. I've been solo parenting a toddler and a furry baby. I need a bloody rest. Anyway, the adventure continues, and boy, am I so excited for what we have next. While we've been quiet the last few weeks, our number of subscribers has grown quite significantly, and that's down to you guys. So firstly, a massive warm welcome and a huge thank you for subscribing and joining us on our journey. And if you do feel like sharing it with absolutely everybody you know, then please do share away.
So what exactly have we been up to in the last few weeks? Well, we left that campsite that we were parked at in Agadir, where we were hanging out with some friends and just generally having a bit of a chill out whale of a time, and we have made our way south, quite a lot further south if I'm honest. We are in fact right now almost on the Western Sahara or Moroccan Sahara, depending on who you're talking to, on the border, with the plan of heading down there, meeting up with a couple of other overlanders and convoying all the way down into Mauritania for a bit more of an explore. But that is all to come. We're going to tell you what we've been up to.
That's right. We left Agadir and we headed south towards Sidi Ifni, where we parked up alongside the beach and a beautiful shipwreck. Our plan was to attack the Plage Blanche route, which has a 40-kilometre beach section to drive along. It's a well-featured route in all of the Chris Scott books and also the Piston Coon tracks, but being that we're a heavier truck and we don't have any experience yet in driving in softer sand, we decided it would be sensible to convoy up with another family in their Mercedes 1428 AF.
Of course, safety in numbers is always a good idea when you're traveling around off-road. Just having another pair of eyes, another person to bounce ideas off, to pick routes, to spot potential sticking points, just to share the fun with, really. Not to mention the fact that when you're driving a big truck like this and you're heading into sand dunes, it is quite the comfort to know that there's another heavy truck with you, just in case one of you gets stuck.
I thought the Graf Desert had some challenges, but this was a step up in technicality, and there were definitely a few points where I closed my eyes or I just took the opportunity to get out of BB and film outside. The potty mouth was out in full force.
Now this week saw our first proper excursion into some real sandy areas, some sand dune areas, and it was really good to see how BB performed. Good news, she performed faultlessly. Absolutely fantastic. We were blown away by how capable she was through the soft sand. Obviously tyre pressures are important, and we duly spent the time to drop our tyre pressures from our road pressures, which are about 90 on the front and 100 on the rear, down to about 60 on the rear and 50 on the front, which is not that low in truth, but it's low enough. And yeah, if we were in really soft sand, we would definitely go lower. And certainly we've had a few people say we didn't go low enough, but we didn't get stuck. So maybe she was okay at those pressures. But yes, we totally take the point. Super soft sand, they'd be going down even lower. As I say, we were running about 60 on the rear, 50 on the front. That's actually a little bit lower than what the military recommend. They say for soft sand, it should be 65 rear, 58 front. So we were kind of in that ballpark. And I'd rather spend the time dropping the tyre pressures and re-inflating them later than digging us out of a sand dune that we didn't need to get stuck in the first place.
After Plage Blanche, we found ourselves in Tantan in a campsite for the night, before continuing south onto Akfanir to then go and do the route out to Kawanam waterfalls. About 60 kilometres of off-road tracks later, we found ourselves at a beautiful scar on the ground. The waterfalls, as usual, were not flowing. It is a desert after all, but I can imagine if once it's been raining, the cascades would be even more awe-inspiring.
Right, there's a new feature this week. It's what we wouldn't be without. So every so often we'll throw in a product that we love because we've bought it and we use it. We have no affiliation with the company at all. And this week we're going to tell you, appropriately enough, because we've been driving in soft sand, about Mor Flate. Our Mor Flate quad kit is what we use to inflate our tyres after we've taken them down to the sand pressures. It is a dual outlet air manifold with a digital pressure gauge on it that allows us to accurately adjust the tyre pressures. Now, yes, we would love a full CTIS system. If anyone out there is listening, please let us know, but they are very expensive. We need new wheels, we need new axles. It all starts pushing the price up. And to be honest, the Mor Flate system is really bloody good. We plug it into the air compressor, run the lines out. There's a long and a short on each outlet. So we put front and rears and away we go. Obviously we do want a differential between the front and rears, so we get all four tyres to the pressure we want them at. And then we just disconnect the front and pump up the rears a little bit further. Our limiting process in this is actually the compressor in the truck. However, Bebe's got a little trick up her sleeve, as all HXs do. Because they've got a PTO built on, they've got an engine idler speed. So we knock the engine idler speed up, increase her revs while she's sitting stationary, and that keeps the compressor pumping a little bit harder. It makes pumping up the tyres after we've dropped them that little bit quicker. And being able to do all four wheels at once is a real time saver, which, if we're honest, means we're more likely to drop the tyre pressures before we get stuck, because we know it's not quite such the hassle to pump them up afterwards. So, Mor Flate, highly recommended. It's time for
This week in numbers,
kilometres driven.
495 kilometres. Kilometres driven off-road,
255.
60 of which was me.
They were? She's not lying.
Solar yield,
57.4 kilowatts.
cheapest fuel,
87p a litre equivalent. Ka-ching! And lastly, number of times Potty Mouth Jess has made an appearance.
Uncountable.
And well, that's pretty much it for this week. Next week, as I said, we're on the Western Sahara border now. We're going to be journeying our way down through Western Sahara en route to the Mauritanian border. Now, Western Sahara is reputed to be the most landmined country in the world. I don't know if it's true, but I can tell you one thing. We won't be venturing off-road because we don't want to hit a landmine. Sounds like a good idea to stick to the tracks and roads that are well used. Join us next week. See how we got on. We'll see you then. Bye for now.
This paragraph's even longer. See how many times I can fuck this one up. Oh, fuck it, that's enough. Oh, I can't even get up. It's sitting on the floor too long.